Having spent this past week in Israel, 2 of the days were shared with other rabbis together at the Mizrachi conference. And one concept that was spoken about that I think I really felt was the fact that in America, we talk about being part of a kehillah. And actually the Israeli rabbinic community, looks to our communities in the Golah as models for what it means to be part of a kehillah. But in Israel, there's not just the idea of a kehillah, but there's a concept of being an am, of being part of a people. And I think I really felt that this particular week. Yom HaZikaron, working on Mount Herzl, and seeing the sacrifice of so many thousands of people that this nation is built upon, and then going in and transitioning into the festive aspect and environment of Yom HaAtzmaut. And a person really feels a sense of Amcha, a sense of being part of Klal Yisrael. We always talk about in the Golah, davening, doing things on behalf of our brothers and sisters in Israel. There's almost no experience like it participating in this past week's celebrations. For me, it was just an incredible experience being here and also being part of the wonderful commemoration and celebration in our Five Towns community, where over 1,000 people came out to demonstrate their support, their connection to being part of Am Yisrael.
Hey folks, it's been such an incredible trip here in Israel, and really one of the most momentous times of the year. It's hard to really put into words what the experience was like, but suffice to say, what we try to do is take a few voices from some of the Chevron and Five Towns who were here in Israel, experiencing Yom HaZikaron, Yom HaAtzmaut, with the Mizrachi program and various parts of it, perhaps giving voice to some of those experiences so we can all be uplifted by that. I hope you enjoy.
The transition from Yom HaZikaron to Yom HaAtzmaut was unbelievable. I never understood how an entire nation can go from feeling such deep sorrow to such deep happiness. And there I was at the Yoram Gaon concert last night, listening and dancing along with all fellow Israelis. I was never in such an Israeli environment in my life, and it was just amazing. Happy Yom HaAtzmaut to everyone back home.
We've visited Israel many times before, and Baruch Hashem, we now live in Yerushalayim most of the year. But in all these years, we've never really experienced Yom HaZikaron and Yom HaAtzmaut the way that we did with World Mizrachi. The intense pain of Yom HaZikaron flowing seamlessly into the exuberant celebration of Yom HaAtzmaut. From the cemetery at Har Herzl to the visit to Miriam Peretz at her home on Yom HaZikaron, then the magnificent musical Hallel, both in the evening and again in the morning of Yom HaAtzmaut, singing together with Israelis and Olim, new Israelis, and really feeling connected to and part of Am Yisrael b'Medinat Yisrael.
On Yom HaAtzmaut, we went to a wine and cheese party at a neighborhood of Gush Etzion, which was being developed by a bunch of young families, and their parnassah was to make wine, and it's some of the most delicious wine you'll ever taste. It's called Hasela Estate Winery. Their Cabernet Sauvignon is outstanding, and they don't deliver it to America. This is another reason for you to make Aliyah.
Erica and I have planned this vacation going to Israel for Yom HaZikaron and Yom HaAtzmaut almost a year ago. I have to tell you, we do Yom HaZikaron and Yom HaAtzmaut in the Five Towns in the Young Israel of Woodmere beautifully. But it's nothing like being here in person on Har Herzl and watching and listening to everybody and everything that goes on. It's extremely, extremely moving.
I have to honestly say that being here for Yom HaAtzmaut and Yom HaZikaron lets us experience the absolute neshama of Am Yisrael and Klal Yisrael. Just want to highlight one meaningful thing that was amazing to me. On Yom HaZikaron on Har Herzl, there is not one grave that is left unattended. If there is a grave that doesn't have family, they station a soldier, or at least 2 soldiers, at every single grave. And if that doesn't demonstrate how Am Yisrael takes care of each other and has that neshama, nothing else does. Am Yisrael Chai.
Being in Israel for Yom HaZikaron and Yom HaAtzmaut was an experience we never had before. For Yom HaZikaron, the whole country mourned together, and for Yom HaAtzmaut, they all celebrated together.
This experience has been incredible, and we can certainly see how Mika Amcha Yisrael and Kol Yisrael are Evim Zeh Lazeh.
We arrived yesterday to Israel on Yom HaZikaron, and as our driver was taking us to the hotel, actually first we stopped at Har Menuchot to visit, unfortunately, family who were buried there. The driver mentioned to us how difficult it is to him to be able to go from the raw emotions of Yom HaZikaron to the sudden, from one moment to the next, to go into Yom HaAtzmaut with the joy that that brings. So that, of course, was something that I was much more sensitive to by the time I got to the evening's activities that the OU had presented, where I saw our dear Rabbi Trump, which was an explosion of joy and passion at the moment of Yom HaAtzmaut. But during the tefillot for Yom HaZikaron, there was a somberness, there was a seriousness, and there was a joy as well, knowing that the tremendous sacrifices that were made on the part of our chayalim and the part of the people who were killed in the terrorist attacks so recently and over the past 75 years and more so, were an integral part of what created Medinat Yisrael. And to me, the most wonderful part of the OU program was seeing the hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of people from all over the world, from all stripes of Jews, Rabbanim, regular people, kippot zrugot, people with black kippot, men, women, children, babies with cute little Israeli flags flashing on their heads, girls draped with the flags of Israel. As soon as it was declared that it was Yom HaAtzmaut, the singing, the dancing, the joy, the passion, the support for Israel, especially in these most difficult times. And then came Tefillah, again, for Israel. It was a sudden silence. Suddenly, the mechisa, of course, was up the whole time with beautiful festooned white and blue balloons. Everyone was serious. Everyone had opened up their tefillot, the sidurim, their cell phones with the davening, and there was a silence as people were davening so seriously, so beautifully. And then came the singing again. The band was playing, and it was just joyful, filled with passion. And that to me was very, very heartening. I could understand what our driver meant, because no doubt his family had suffered somehow during the course of the many years of being in Israel. His parents were even born here in Israel. So it was a wonderful, joyous evening, a somber evening, a passionate evening. And I'm just so glad to have been part of it. I was so glad to see Rabbi Trump there, the great Rabbanim who were there, the OU leadership that was there, the women, and children, as I mentioned.
Hi, we just wanted to express the importance of being here for Yom HaZikaron and Yom HaAtzmaut, especially Pearl and I are both children of Holocaust survivors, and we always think about the days that our parents were liberated and what this would have meant to them to witness 75 years of the Medina and how it could have saved all of the Jewish people in Europe. And it's just very special for us as children of Holocaust survivors to represent them, to represent the families of the victims of the Holocaust.
And from my point of view, in America, we celebrate Memorial Day in a way that we're sort of enjoying the day off and looking forward to a barbecue. Here in Israel, Yom HaZikaron, which is also Memorial Day, is celebrated almost like Tisha B'Av. It is such a day where the country is in mourning for the losses of their people, and how they go from being in mourning to celebration on Yom HaAtzmaut, that every moment of the day goes from tragedy to simcha in such an amazing way. And it was so meaningful to be part of the davening and to be part of the moving of just from one movement of going from death to life. And it was really an amazing opportunity.
Am Yisrael Chai.
Am Yisrael Chai.
I had the privilege of being in Israel on Yom HaZikaron, a ceremony where a bunch of family members of loved ones who were followed in the text spoke about their life-changing experience. There were close to 500 people in the room, or even more, and we all had tears in our eyes. This is something that we will never forget.
One thing that took away from the Yom HaZikaron Tekes on Monday night was that there was a mom who lost one of her older children, and so she wrote a children's book trying to show what it's like for a younger sibling to lose an older sibling in war, in battle, or from a terrorist attack.
Hi, I'm Arlene Silverstein. I too, like Rabbi Trump, felt that this was possibly the first real Yom HaZikaron and Yom HaAtzmaut that I've experienced here, despite the fact that I've come many, many times for these young children. In the past, I've focused on the sheer miracle and strength and resilience of this great nation, and only skimmed over the sacrifices that mothers and fathers, like myself, have made in order for Israel to survive and thrive. There was something about the first presentation from World Mizrachi, the evening event, that the speakers sat amongst us. They were with us, not apart from us. And just like one of us, our brothers and sisters, we could have been just like them. They were like us and we were like them. They paid the ultimate price, the precious lives of their children, the knock on the door. Mizrachi, this Yom HaZikaron and Yom HaAtzmaut, you will not be forgotten, the presentation that you gave us. Am Yisrael Chai.
One of my takeaways from being here in Israel this year with World Mizrachi and the Young Israel of Lawrence-Cedarhurst for Yom HaZikaron and Yom HaAtzmaut was that I never anticipated or expected to be so unbelievably overcome with emotion while participating in all the programming and all the ceremonies, and that I didn't feel like a tourist, but rather I really, really felt solidarity in a very, very intense way with my fellow brethren. And it is something that I will never forget and will try my best to cling to that when I'm not in Israel for Yom HaZikaron and Yom HaAtzmaut.
Just wanted to give my initial reaction to this amazing Mizrachi mission here to Israel for Yom HaZikaron and Yom Yerushalayim. I was struck with the thought that for the first time in a very long while, I wasn't just a tourist visiting from the 5 towns. For these 72 hours at least, I felt a tremendous kinship with my fellow Jews from around the world, as well as my Israeli brethren. For these past 3 days at least, I felt a tremendous sense of pride. Proud to be a Jew, proud to be part of something great, proud of something so special that is taking place here in Israel, proud to be a part of something called Jewish history, proud for the tremendous sense of achdus I felt, proud to be part of one big family. It was something very special to me, and of course, I felt grateful to have been here and privileged to be part of it. It's something I hope to never forget.
Hi everyone, it's the Specters from Yerushalayim, including our oldest granddaughter Emma Jacobs, and thank God my mom, who came with us this week to celebrate Israel's 75th birthday. A big mazel tov to our country, our homeland. It was such a wonderful and incredible week. We were able to share it with Rabbi Trump and our Yilk family here and friends. The energy, the vibe was just contagious.
And not only that, the achdus amongst the Israelis and the Jewish people was something that I was actually surprised to see, given all the political divide that's been going on. And we're really one people. On Yom HaAtzmaut night, we went to many different celebrations, and people were really partying in the street, flags all over the place.
Didn't make a difference if you were Chiloni, if you were Haredi, if you were Yeshivish. Everybody was together. Everybody was celebrating the miracle, the nace of Eretz Yisrael and Am Yisrael.
Emma, you want to say a couple words?
Say Shabbat Shalom from Yerushalayim.
Shabbat Shalom from Yerushalayim.
Bye-bye.
So yesterday I was fortunate to going to Har Herzl on Yom HaZikaron, and it was an experience that was just incredible. I saw just thousands of people coming together to mourn the losses of soldiers, and you never get that sense of unity unless you're here. That sense of unity is just incredible. It's a feeling that's awesome.
Hi, we're in Yerushalayim for Yom HaZikaron and Yom HaOtz, and for Mizrachi World Orthodox Israel Congress. I went for a tour of Har Herzl, not with a Congress, but the same idea which they did, and it's a 3-hour tour of Har Herzl, which is such a meaningful thing to do on Yom HaZikaron, and I'm sure even more so on real Yom HaZikaron. We went Erev Yom HaZikaron. And then celebrating Yom HaAtzmaut after, which is really the right combination of Evel and Simcha, and mourning for the people who really sacrificed their lives for us, and then celebrating their lives on the following day. And it's a wonderful place to be for the Chag. Fine.
Had a great week here in Yerushalayim for Yom HaAtzmaut, Yom HaZikaron. The great theme throughout the week, both on tours and celebrations and here at the Congress, was unity, the need for unity. Everyone spoke about unity, Achdus, from the right, the left, Ashkenaz, Sfard. We all need to come together. If there's going to be Shalom, we need to come together. And I think that's the takeaway. And there's no place like Yerushalayim in Israel for Yom HaAtzmaut and Yom HaZikaron. We will come back next year.
For many years, Barbara and I have come to Israel throughout various parts of the year. Specifically, we've been here for Chagim, we've been here for Hanukkah, we've been here in the summer. We've actually come on Tisha B'Av to experience what it is like to be here on a Tisha B'Av. For many years, my brother has always told us that the most special time in Israel is to be here for Yom HaZikaron and Yom HaAtzmaut, and to feel the juxtaposition of those 2 days. Until we came, I never thought that we would understand why those days were so special, but having been here, it is so clear why they are. During our stay here, Barbara found a very interesting quote, and the quote was, Israel has 2 days of remembrances. Yom HaZikaron, which tells us what the cost of having the state of Israel is, and Yom HaShoah, which tells us what the cost is of not having the state of Israel. Being here has really put into focus what the incredible people of Israel are doing. Everyone, specifically the Tzahal, and making sure that there's a state of Israel so that a Yom HaShoah would never happen again. I think it's so important for people to be here and experience the importance of Yom HaZikaron, and then the just festive and happiness that comes with Yom HaAtzmaut and having our own state. I think it is extremely important for our kids to experience that. Barbara and I were talking about how we make holidays such a special time for our family. This is something that I think we will change going forward, and hopefully being able to bring our children here will give them an even deeper appreciation. As we remove ourselves from the Holocaust, as survivors are no longer with us, unfortunately, I think the importance of realizing what Yom HaZikaron and Yom HaAtzmaut and what the state of Israel means, and how that not having it could lead to a Yom HaShoah. I think it also shows us what these people do so that people living in the United States or any place in the world can feel safe, knowing that there is a place that we could go to, and that a Yom HaShoah will never come again. Having been here for Yom HaZikaron and Yom HaAtzmaut, I think that message came through stronger than I would have ever understood, and the emotions of being here cannot be described. It's something that you have to do in order to really experience it.